Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel and thanks for logging on. Today we are discussing my own personal all-time favorite Rolex watch. It's the Rolex Milgauss GV Z-Blue, reference 116400GV with the 2014 electric blue sunburst dial. This is a spectacular timepiece that I'm begging you to buy on our website before I do. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you enjoy these videos, and please click on the card in the upper right hand corner of the screen at any time during this video to see our full sales listing for this Rolex Milgauss GV Z-Blue with additional accessories included in the sale, high resolution images for your desktop, and naturally complete pricing details for this blue dial, orange accent, green crystal, anti-magnetic Rolex. Now, of course, the Milgauss in the modern era was born in 2007, and that year it was the GV, the Glace Vert, or the green crystal, that was the sensation. A watch that was immediately waitlisted, in demand globally, and marked up on secondary circuits. In a lot of ways, that watch seemed wacky with its orange lightning bolt hand and its tinted crystal, but nothing could have prepared the Rolex connoisseur for the splash of color that soaked everyone at Basel World 2014, and you see it on my wrist. 40 millimeters across the round of the case from 9 to 3, not inclusive of the crown. The watch is relatively slim at 13.1 millimeters thick, but with a generously sloped conical bezel, it easily slides underneath any dress cuff. From lug to lug, this is a rare modern Rolex with solid end links that actually wears its lug-to-lug dimension. That is to say, the bracelet does not project beyond the horns of the lugs, so the watch measures a tidy 49.1 millimeters across the wrist, and in my estimation, this watch could be worn comfortably and with a good appearance of proportion on a wrist as small as 13.5 centimeters in circumference. Now, the timepiece is hefty, as all modern Rolex watches are, because with a robust case featuring solid caseback, solid end links, solid center links, and a milled out steel clasp, there's a lot of robust Rolex 904 alloy stainless steel here. Now, the 904 alloy tends to, in my experience, take a polish and hold a satin finish a little bit better than 316 steel. At the extreme end of corrosion resistance, it also has a small edge on 316. You'll note that the Milgauss is not an entry-level model, as it features a differential finish on the bracelet that's characteristic of the upscale Rolex timepieces, with polished center links, polished outer flanks, and shoulder links with a satin finish. Note the solid end link horn of the bracelet and how you can pull the bracelet straight down. The horn of the end link, the solid component, unlike, for instance, on a GMT or a Submariner, it doesn't flare beyond the lugs, making this an easy watch to wear on smaller wrists. It wears true to its lug-to-lug size. Now, you can see the taper of the bracelet down to a clasp that is fully polished inside and out. Again, this is a simple Rolex, but it is not an entry-level Rolex, and that's borne out by the finish within the deploying clasp. It does feature both a double-finished exterior and high-polish interior on both sides with Rolex's 5mm Easy Link system. So you can add or take out 5 millimeters of additional length as your wrist expands or contracts through activity, inactivity, hot and cold weather. Of course, the watch features a robust Oyster style case, and you can see with a screwed in caseback, beautifully satin finished, covering the soft iron inner cage. The watch is thicker than it has to be for a simple time only timepiece, and that's because it features the soft iron inner cage around the movement. It's also why there is no date on the watch, as that would create another aperture, another perforation of the soft iron cage that encloses the caliber 3131 movement from all sides. Now, the watch is resistant to 1000 Gauss or Milgauss, which is roughly equivalent to 80,000 ampere per meter. So it's a highly anti-magnetic, not amagnetic because it's not silicon, but a highly anti-magnetic timepiece that's also 100 meters water resistant thanks to the screwed in caseback and the screw down crown. Let's talk a little bit about this dial. Rolex itself describes this dial as electric blue. Let me just make sure that I have the focus here so you can get the full detail. Okay, there it is. You can see as I move it through the light simply dances and explodes across the radial grain of this dial. It's even more blue than it appears in the light box, because the light box features a lot of yellow light, which tends to cancel the impression of the dial. Even so, it is dramatic. electric blue per Rolex to remind you that this is a technician's watch in conjunction with the lightning bolt style seconds hand, which is true to Milgauss history and dates back to the 1950s, so it's not just a postmodern flourish. You can see the same orange treatment in the name of the watch, the marquee at 12 o'clock, and outboard of each of the fully luminescent white gold indices, you can see a small shock of orange for the Arabic numeral minutes. Now the hands are white gold, the coronet is white gold, the numerals are white gold, and it's all fully lumed, so the watch glows robustly in low or no light conditions. One of the characteristics of the early GV was the green crystal. Today it's a little bit shaded by the Z-Blue, as the green crystal is no longer the quirkiest option in the Milgauss lineup, but I'll say this, though the watch has been out since 2014, it is a rare commodity. I dare say many Rolex buyers don't have the audacity, or perhaps deep down, the courage and maybe even the slightly bonkers aesthetic sensibility to buy the Z-Blue version, which is why I believe I've only had 2 of them in my hand since I started doing these videos 4 years ago. So if you're looking for a watch, oh that's a great angle, that offers you a ton of fun, immense character, none of the pretense, and some might even say the baggage sometimes associated with Rolex, this is a fun-loving timepiece with zero pretense and immense personality that's also rare. Buy a rare steel Rolex, own it and enjoy it, and perhaps down the line you'll reap the benefits of its scarcity and your own courage in choosing the zaniest modern Rolex watch. But you need not have courage to choose what's inside this watch because it is rock solid. Rolex manufacturer caliber 3131, 31 jewels, bidirectional automatic winding, 48-hour power reserve. It has the namesake Milgauss of anti-magnetic security. Truth be told, it's a little bit more than that even, with the Parachrome Blue anti-magnetic alloy overcoil hairspring, both anti-magnetic and because of the overcoil architecture, resistant to positional or gravitationally induced timing deviation. The watch also features hacking seconds, so if you do want to synchronize your wacky technician's timepiece to a reference timer in the lab or simply in the classroom, you can quite easily. Also, take note that the watch is a pleasure to wind in spite of the fact that it's an automatic winder. This is a feature of Rolex watches rarely discussed, but they are rewarding to wind manually, so you may want to give it a few turns a day. A full balance bridge with a free-sprung architecture means the watch is robustly shock resistant, and it is a COSC certified Swiss chronometer tested as a bare movement and then again as a fully cased up Rolex timepiece. Rolex's internal standards -2 +2 seconds being full watch standards that are more rigorous than the bare movement standard of the COSC. Of course, 48-hour power reserve and the bidirectional automatic winding system. Bidirectional meaning it really has no rotor wobble or rattle. You can't feel it, you can't hear it. It's a very refined system that is further refined by Rolex's Teflon-coated reversing wheels. It is smooth as silk, winding automatically or manually. This is the wacky one, the wild one, the red-headed stepchild, the rarest of the modern Milgauss, and I'm going to proclaim it, the most collectible Milgauss of the future from this generation. Do you dare? See it and own it on our website.